Okay, so another Ilyenkov video. We started reading the Dialectics of the Ideal, the book or the work rather that I already recommended maybe a year or so ago. Maybe I will find the video and link it down below. But we're going to read it together with some comrades, which I'm very, very excited about. I have read some of it already, and it's a very, very exciting book for me because it is showcasing why Ilyenkov was actually an uncomfortable philosopher during the Soviet times. In the little introduction that we've been reading so far, some of the historical context is disclosed about how this particular article on the ideal was not even included in one of the collection of philosophical works that was going to be published at the time in the 1970s, even though it was supposed to be included, but it wasn't. And precisely because Ilyenkov is talking about some of the things that, unfortunately, a lot of the Soviet ideologues were dismissing and trying to sweep under the rug all of the ideological talk. Now, Ilyenkov never used the word ideology. He actually used phrases such as collective consciousness, culture, etc., which in his case are pretty much interchangeable with the word ideology. And when my husband and I were reading some of the parts of this work, we were just laughing and chuckling to ourselves about how it appears like in the Marxist circles in the past and nowadays, there is this antipathy towards the word ideology, and there is this antipathy towards the learning about ideology as some kind of purely speculative forte, which it is not. And this is possibly why Althusser is not very well liked in a lot of Marxist circles. But do bear in mind that whatever flavor of Marxist you are, you still need to study the ideal. Whether you call it ideology or not doesn't really matter. What matters is that you look into the ideal that people engage into and engage with due to their material circumstances, because dismissing the ideal as if it is something intangible, therefore non-consequential, is very, very naive and very, very dangerous, actually, because it will lead inevitably to the ignorance towards certain behavior patterns, certain habits, certain types of actions that may actually hurt people and hurt the budding new working movements that are emerging throughout the world. So when you start looking at Ilyenkov's Dialectics of the Ideal, at the very beginning, he lays down his cards. He is very explicit about how he does not believe it is just some kind of neurochemical reaction in your brain, not because it is just his personal opinion, because he has studied the logic of dialectics for many, many, many years. He has made himself very well versed in Hegelian speak, in Hegelian philosophy, and in Marx philosophy. And this is why he defines the ideal as he does. And this is a very, very much well-earned conceptualization. It is not based on his fantasies and fancies, just as he consistently insists that our ideal, the way we perceive the world, the way we reflect the world, the way we hold beliefs about actual material phenomena, none of them are random, none of them are just pure fantasy and imagination. You can see the becoming of all of these thought processes if you pay attention and if you apply the dialectical method. And he does in this work. He applies the dialectical method. He doesn't really engage with a lot of examples usually. Since we haven't fully finished this work, I don't know if he's going to provide examples or not, but I highly, highly recommend you check out this work. And I think I've already been looking for it. And this work should be translated into English because it was not published during the 70s in the Soviet Union because of these ideological disagreements that Ilyenkov had with the ruling school of Marxism at the time. But it was published later in English after Ilyenkov passed, unfortunately, I believe, or perhaps sometime before. It was translated into English with some reductions. But then later, after Ilyenkov's passing, It was published in English, then it was published in Russian in different versions with different things being redacted, but we were able to find a version that we believe is pretty complete based off of the original printed manuscript in Russian. So I will include it down below if you speak Russian, and do try and find it in English. And I will continue looking for it in English. And if you do happen to find it, drop the link down below in the comments. And it is going to be immensely helpful because it shows you just how much the ideal is inextricably intertwined to the material. If you want to change your material circumstances, you also simultaneously have to work on the deconstruction, using the everybody's hated postmodernist term, of your ideal, of the way you think about the world, the way you perceive the world, etc., etc. This is not to say that you should be investigating your own thought patterns all day long and dedicate all your time to this. No, of course not. But what you should be doing is including this reflection and analysis of your personal, individual expression and corresponded with what you're with what you're observing in the world, because all of these things are connected. None of these things float in a vacuum, just as I keep on saying. So please read this work if you are able to. It is about 80 pages or so long, so it's not too heavy of a read. Of course, Ilyenkov's language is something to get used to, but it's nothing out of this world. It's much easier than Hegel. So let me know what you think. Meanwhile, I hope you have a great day today. Consider supporting me on Patreon. Do take care of yourself and your community first. Solidarity with all the working class people of the world. Subscribe to me on all the other social medias, even though I don't do much there, and I'll talk to you sometime later.